right, so let's get it started with our favorite professional football team in the Northwest, the Seattle Seahawks. They won last Sunday. They beat the Eagles 26-15. And Kellen, can you talk a little bit about the game that Doug Baldwin had on Sunday? He was pretty good.
Doug Baldwin needs more respect, guys. He is a top 10 NFL wide receiver in my book. He had 4 catches for 104 yards, so not that many grabs, but obviously for a good amount of yards. No receiving touchdowns, but one fun play in the ballgame was he was 1 for 1 with a touchdown pass to Russell Wilson. And I got to tell you, folks, what a pass that was. But here's a little bit of an inside scoop on what happened.
Ooh.
So the play, which required Baldwin to fake an end around in the backfield before flinging the ball to Wilson down the left sideline, was called, obviously, by offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. Now, after receiving the play call in the huddle, Dougie turned and gave Bevell a nice big middle finger. It's as clear as day. You can look it up on YouTube. Baldwin told ESPN later that day when he had learned he was going to throw the ball to Wilson, he thought, we're in the freaking red zone, and you want me to throw the ball? Throw me the ball. And I love that. I love that attitude by Doug Baldwin. That's kind of what makes him who he is. He wants the ball when it's prime time, but again, made a great play to Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson showed some receiving awareness by catching the football and putting it right towards the pylon. It was a fun play for Seahawks fans.
No, it was a fun play, and people loved it, but Russell Wilson's health has been in question all season long. Drew, I want to ask you, was it necessary to run that play?
In what terms? Was it necessary to just call the play in general at that point, or for Russell Wilson to be out there doing that? Is that the question?
Kind of both of them.
Okay.
Because when you're receiving the ball, you are now more vulnerable than you would be as a quarterback.
Right.
So it's like
that's a safety coming downhill.
It's not really. You answer it, and then I'll give my thoughts on it.
So I think the play was necessary for the time. I think the Seahawks needed a play like that at this point in the season to kind of get their momentum going. They've struggled on offense at least for the last 2 weeks. Now they're starting to roll. You get a big play like that, I think it does a lot for your offense, does a lot for your chemistry, does a lot for your momentum going forward. However, do I think a quarterback like Russell Wilson should ever in a million years go out for a pass with the injury problems that he's had? No. He's too hurt this season. I'm sorry. Keep the dude behind the line. He's done a great job of being elusive in the last 2 weeks, not taking a lot of hits.
He has looked healthier, though.
Yeah, he's looked healthier. Let's not put the guy at undue risk. He's starting to play well again. Let's not mess with it. I don't think he should have done it, but, I mean, hey, it was a great play. Gotta love it. Now let me tell you this now. Doug Baldwin hangs him out to dry, and he just absolutely becomes a Rydell test pilot. Everyone is just so mad this week.
Exactly. I don't think it was needed. I think you're better off having Russell Wilson throw another touchdown there rather than go catch one. I think that with his health, like I said, it's just not necessarily a great decision. It wasn't. I don't know. Last week we were pumped on CJ Prosise. Had a huge game. He had a huge play again in the first quarter, ripping off like a 70-something yard touchdown. Now he's out with an injury. I think there's no timetable on his return. Kellen, how big of a blow was that for the Seahawks?
Yeah, so CJ has had the injury bug ever since he was a receiver at Notre Dame. So this is tough for him to continue that. I feel bad for him. I've obviously been in his cleats before. Like you said, had a big 72-yard run for a touchdown. He had 4 carries for 76 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, and 2 catches for 5 yards. It's a big blow, especially after letting Christine Michael go, who's now with the Packers, who will probably be playing in the Packers uniform this week. He had to sit out a week, knowing learning the offense over in Lambeau. But what this news means is it means that rookie Alex Collins with the hair is the only healthy tailback on the Seattle's 53-man roster, aside from big-time starter Thomas Rawls. And Carroll said in the press conference later this last week that Rawls kind of came out of Sunday's game banged up after not playing for the first time in 2 months. And so it's really interesting in the backfield. And I think 2 running backs for the Ravens also got banged up. So in the backfield for both teams, they were extremely banged up. So it'll be interesting to see how Alex Collins, answers the bell.
So in Thomas Rawls' shoes, Kellen, I'm going to ask you. You obviously know. How tough is it to get back used to not necessarily the cardio and the athleticism of being in football shape, but taking hits the way players do?
Right.
That has to be the toughest part, right?
Exactly. You really can't, do that in practice because if you're going to get hurt in a game, that's what my dad always says.
It's fair.
And so you're never going to tackle full go in practice. And so it's a different ball game when you're live against linebackers that want to take your head off rather than just tag your hips like the Seahawks linebackers I'm sure do. Mm-hmm. So no question, I'm not surprised whatsoever that he's sore after Sunday's game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The defense was stellar against the Eagles. I mean, 15 points, you'll take that all all year long. Drew, what stood out to you for the Seahawks defense?
Well, just the pass rush that they were able to get without having to send a lot of guys. They put a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz. And let me tell you this right now. Carson Wentz, who looked like a combination of Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in the first 4 games of the year, has declined and now plateaued off. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, life is tough as a rookie quarterback. You get a good defensive coach who's a good defensive schemer like Pete Carroll. He can make your life a living hell, I promise. He threw a bunch of different looks at him, changed coverages, changed fronts, fake blitzes, sent guys some days, sometimes didn't. It was a great defensive schemed night for the Hawks. The Hawks defense looks to be getting their mojo back after the Legion of Boom made an appearance and knocked Gronk out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, that is fair. You kind of see it sometimes in baseball where a younger player will come up and he'll tear the league up for 2 months, then all of a sudden everyone catches up to him. Everyone figures out how to pitch to him. It's the exact same thing with defensive scheming against a rookie quarterback like that.
This is how I look at it. It's once you have film on a guy, you know what I mean? Once you have film on a guy, it's over. Like Colin Kaepernick looked like a genius until they had a year to scheme against him in the offseason, and now he looks like nothing.
Remember that run against the Packers? I was like, this guy is the new quarterback of the NFL.
Yeah, RG3 was fantastic his rookie year. Then everyone got film on him. Guess what happened? Nothing.
The league catches up.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, great for the first 4 games. Every team in the league gets film on him. Guess what happens?
Yeah. Yep.
Carson Wentz, he doesn't like to throw a lot of deep passes.
No.
A lot of his passes are kind of like,
He came from a run-first offense.
Right. At
So,
North Dakota State.
Yeah.
So I got a question for both of you. Who looks better than the Seahawks right now in the NFC? Because I think they're probably the best team in the NFC.
The only team I would say that looks better than them is the Cowboys. Right now, Dak Prescott is playing on a level that I've never seen a rookie quarterback play. Again, I've talked about this before. The poise that he shows in the pocket, oh my goodness, it is Tom Brady-ish, the way he trusts his line. And again, his line is, in my opinion, as good as the Raiders line in the NFL. They're probably the top 2 lines.
I agree.
And then obviously Ezekiel Elliott is jumping over guys every game. He's running behind a great offensive line. I mean, they have the total package. And what I love as a receiver, Des Bryant, who's normally an ego kind of guy, I think honestly is starting to buy into the system that, you know what, it's not all about me. And that's the biggest compliment that can have on that offense. And I think it starts with Dak Prescott. You remember when he called him out a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
It just, in my opinion, if I'm Jerry Jones right now, obviously I'm always sitting, pretty confident with all the money he has, but I'm very proud of my team right now. And Cole Beasley is playing well. This is a fun team to watch. I cannot wait till they play the Seahawks.
Yeah, Dak Prescott's kind of the exception to what we just talked about, the league catching up to the rookie quarterback. I mean, they haven't really yet. Drew, same question to you. Who looks better than the Seahawks right now from the NFC?
The Cowboys. I hate to repeat Kellen, but it's the Cowboys. It's been the first time in a long time the Cowboys have had 2 people in the MVP talks. Not only that, but they have 2 people who are rookies in the MVP talk for the NFL. I think Dak Prescott is very quarterbackial, to use a popular adage. The kid can play, the kid can spin it, the kid can run. A lot of people, wrote him off. I mean, heck, the Cowboys passed on him 4 times before they picked him.
Right.
They tried to get every other quarterback in the darn draft who hasn't played and struggled or has played and struggled this year.
Right.
And then now you have Dak Prescott. If I had to pick a team to come out of the NFC this year, it would be the Cowboys, but I would like to put a hand of warning up. The last 3 times the Cowboys have started a season 9-1, they have failed to win a playoff game.
2007, I think, was the last time.
It was the last time that happened. So I'd like to throw a warning sign out there, speaking of what we saw happen in the World Series this year and all the coincidences there. Warning. Buyer beware.
And in basketball, 3-1 leads.
Yeah, buyer beware betting on the Cowboys. Buyer beware. Don't do it. I think the Cowboys are going to do very well, though. I'm excited.
I mean, you think about the Cowboys passing on him. They wanted Paxton Lynch, who's a backup.
They
for the
wanted
Broncos.
Jared Goff.
Crazy.
They wanted everybody else,
Right.
but Dak Prescott, and the senior from Mississippi State seems to be the best pick.
Yep.